So the Fortnite situation is genuinely just sad, and I'm not gonna lie, it's already taken me about 3 attempts to record this video, as this is probably the hardest video I have ever had to make. But I think it's important that everyone understands what's going on here. So I'm pretty sure if you're watching this video, you're already at least semi-aware of what's going on, but in case you haven't, I'm just going to quickly recap what's going on at Epic Games currently, and then I'll be spending the majority of this video just giving my own thoughts on this all. And in all honesty, I just wanted to wait about a day before making this video because I didn't want to have a super emotional reaction to everything that's been coming out recently, and I also, more importantly, wanted to make sure all of my facts were straight before giving you guys information. Alright, so if you haven't heard the news, Epic Games, about a week after increasing the prices of V-Bucks, has now laid off around 1,000 employees from the company, and this batch of layoffs has included a lot of very key members to the game's staff. This includes producers, QA testers, the guy who actually ran the live events and Fortnite competitive, the narrative director, one of the longtime writers for the game, people that worked on the cosmetics, going all the way back to when this game was just Save the World, and just so many others. If I were to list off everyone who was laid off, unfortunately, we would be sitting here for the next 3 hours. And like, in most cases, that would sound like a joke, but in this case, I am being completely dead serious. And unfortunately, the bad news doesn't even end there, as Epic Games is taking some of the game modes offline, which includes Rocket Racing this October, and Fortnite Ballistic and Fortnite Festival Battle Stage on April 16th. Now, we do have some statements from some remaining Epic Games employees, as well as Tim Sweeney. So just to start with what the employee had to say is, "I'll continue to do my best making the best game for you, and I'm confident that my peers feel the same, but please be patient with us as we navigate through this tough time and do our best in spite of these truly gut-wrenching losses." And on the other hand, we have Tim Sweeney saying, "Build awesome Fortnite experiences with fresh seasonal content, gameplay, story, and live events. Accelerate developer tools with greater stability and capability as we evolve from Unreal Engine 5 and UEFN to Unreal Engine 6. Yeah, Tim, that sounds all fine and dandy, in really good direction to take the game. Here's my issue. If that was the case, why would you lay off all the people that would help you do that? Look, I do want to be clear, though. Apparently, the layoffs were not, like, solely Tim Sweeney's decision. Apparently, it came down to HR, and there's already rumors flying around that apparently all of this stuff was randomly selected. But in all honesty, that's even worse. Plus, we got an absolute banger of a tweet from Tim Sweeney last night that the community is rightfully jumping him for. Alright, so I think it's time we get into my own opinions on all of this. Gonna get the most no shit part of this out of the way. This is all really bad. But before I dive in on the topic of Tim Sweeney, I do want to just say to all the employees that were laid off, thank you so much for everything you've created at Epic Games, whether you've been there since the Save the World days or have only been there for the past year. Thank you so much for everything you did and bring just such great experiences to us. It really does mean a lot. You have truly given us not just a game that so many of us care about, but characters, stories, worlds. We cannot thank you enough. Seriously, I think I speak for all the community when I say that. And to all the devs still at Epic Games, I'm also sorry for what you guys are probably going through right now. I'm sure it is beyond disheartening what is going on there right now. But know that you will still have a community behind you through all of this, as I do want to say something also to the Fortnite community. This is not the time to back away and leave the game and the community. If anything, we're all gonna need to unite now more than ever. Because I think we all agree that the last thing we want to see is a game that we have enjoyed for this many years go down like this. And I will say, from what I'm seeing from the community, a lot of you are very on board with that. I mean this wholeheartedly. As much as I will say the Fortnite community has been something else in many situations, I am so glad this is the one thing that is truly bringing us all together, because we all want to keep this game going. Alright, and now we have to talk about the real topic here. Tim Sweeney. This guy has to resign. This guy has been in the gaming industry for a long time, sure, but it's very obvious he is not the right person to be steering the Epic Games ship anymore. Because explain to me how you are one of the biggest and most popular games in the world for almost a decade, but your company is still not turning a profit. And I'll answer why that is, because he spends all of the money they earn on these stupid lawsuits against other big corporations, which is just costing Epic Games hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. On top of that, they are way overly paying the UEFN program right now. And even more so than that, instead of focusing on original content, which wouldn't cost Epic Games anything extra, they're constantly just throwing collaboration after collaboration after collaboration in this game. What is so infuriating about this whole situation is there is absolutely no reason these employees should have been laid off, because usually when a company has to lay off employees, it's because the game's player numbers really aren't doing very well. But Fortnite still gets more players than 99% of games in this industry. The reality of it is, Epic Games has been mismanaging their money so atrociously, and instead of the people actually mismanaging the money, taking accountability and cutting their own salaries, they decide to push the cost onto us consumers with the V-Buck price increase, and then fire a bunch of employees just to save money. And honestly, I could talk about that topic alone all day, but that doesn't help the current situation. So let's talk about Fortnite going forward. We don't know what's gonna happen. We're all just baffled by the events that occurred yesterday, and that's okay. If you feel upset about the situation and feel really sad for the employees, congratulations, you have empathy. And let's be very clear about one thing. Whether you stop playing Fortnite, at least for now, or if you continue to play Fortnite, neither of those decisions makes you a bad person, because there are still a ton of great employees who are still going to be putting their hearts and souls into this game at Epic Games, despite what has happened. And the one thing I think we as a community need to not do is just automatically assume that the absolute worst is going to happen, because that doesn't help the situation either. I've seen a lot of people saying Fortnite competitive is going to die, the Fortnite storyline is over, like every single person who worked in those departments is gone. I'm not saying your fears aren't justified. Believe me, I am worried about the future of this game too. But thinking the absolute worst automatically doesn't help the situation or help your own mental health when it comes to this sort of thing. But truthfully, I get it. This game means a lot to all of us. And basically having to sit back and wait and see what happens absolutely sucks. I'm not gonna say it doesn't. But for right now, I think the best thing we can all do is, yes, voice our opinions on how unhappy we all are, and absolutely tell Tim Sweeney that he needs to go. But do not direct that negative energy towards any of the employees, whether they've been laid off or they're still at Epic Games. They have no part in this. Nor direct that negative energy towards content creators unless they are saying the most idiotic things ever, like Nick A30. Anyways, I think that's all my thoughts for now. I don't really know what I'll be doing too much in the meantime for my own content. Obviously things are gonna be a bit different. I'm gonna try to keep things as positive as we can around here, because I know right now a lot of us just really need that positive, fun experience right now. So I'll just end off this video by encouraging all of you, if there is another hobby or just something else that interests you, maybe spend a little more time with that over the next few days. Maybe hang out with some friends outside of gaming if you can. Just do something to kind of get your mind off it for a few minutes, because it's not healthy to just focus on this thing all day, every day, and let it ruin your entire week. But anyways, thank you all for listening to this video, and I'll catch you all next time.